UZ. The surgeon sped through the hallway a few times, vaguely, like a ghost. He was like a famous person whose time you could not afford to buy. On rare occasions we would sit face to face. He would lean back into his orthopedic chair, all saggy. I could see his spine bend through his skin. I had my jewelry on every time I went. Take off your weapons, he would instruct. When he opened my bag, he could not fathom what he saw. I prepared him, but he did not listen. I asked to keep the evidence, which I used to build a shrine. Now it is scattered. One piece is in my boyfriend's bedroom. Most of it is in the drawer, where it acts as a magnetic field to keep the shame out of my body. It will never decompose. The surgeon was busy for 8 hours. If I hadn't been asleep, I would have turned around to see the surgeon's face and whispered like they did at my high school lectures, "Why are you all red?" Het volgende gedicht heet The World Must Be Here Somehow. The world must be here somehow, at the sight of a dream before it is known or touched, with a knife clenched somewhere, and the houses beautifully sewn to each other, where we do not live and never will, tragically, mundane, beautiful starfield. When I look inside, sometimes it is completely hollow. Sometimes there are tiny envelopes swarming, glimmering promises kept small, by choice or by destiny. This is the best try of all tries. I blew my eyelashes. I think about the past as a different life entirely. I try to touch pictures. They melt in my hands. Stay sedated and asleep. Resume your filthy ways of stumbling in a sandhole very, very deep. Like a tower reversed, meet me at the top of it. The only thing that feels real is rain, with the voice under one's breath that whispers, the world must be here somehow. A crown for my inertia. I wished I was taken aback by something. I wished I was a witness, but these walls produce adverse effects. How many times does a mill or a bird have to prove itself that it is enough and its beauty can be a reason, and that there is no need for a question mark? I wished I stood under acid rain, falling down in heavy drops, not pouring but oozing on my naked crown. Once it peeked out of the blackness of my mother, later out of the vagueness of a flame, perplexed by the skipping of time, found so obvious by many. I try out all sorts of pens to find my voice. I give the torch back to my idols and lie in lethargy. A stranger kissed me on the cheek today. I panicked, I said no. He said Happy New Year. The black hellebore in the corner of my room starts undressing by itself. Finnish poem. I keep improvising a reenactment. I fumble with something I once felt was real. Real, painfully real. Days stretched very far. When I symbolically chose the placement of a sticker, an induced reel, a deformed memory that shifts a grid, obvious, not having to make a point, like a golden flower that sprouts from a rare seed that stands alone. And when there comes a branch, it is not clipped to another one. On my back, I'm sliding back down the dell with the reverence of a moth for light. With the deception of a jump, I jump up to a phone cell, to a hotel, to go into hibernation, to wipe the same spot until it discolors like a notebook over time. Airborne children. We are nowhere in particular. We are a dot on a map. We are a falcon stone grown to a roof, yet we are still a falcon. We are airborne babies kept in recluse. We think we know about these streets and their features, or that we have to move cities in order to rewire our brain. Maybe it is enough to leave the door ajar or shower with the lights off. If you take a shower every day, you never get very filthy. It is shameful, all the comfort that kept us from ever reaching this state. Maybe we have to see the worst land flood in history or suffer a concussion. Mijn laatste gedicht heet Goni Girl Memoir. By the thought of getting past this morning, I was pinned like a butterfly in a frame. And there were pins that went inside the muscle, and they entered, and you came, racing towards me. Your smile formed a fountain, and I stood by with a checkered flag. And I gave up on the standing part, and I lay watching as many tasks undid themselves, through consolation, through regression. I threw one coin in the fountain to show my devotion, and one for the fun of the act, then one for you, and one for me. I kept throwing and throwing, like through the slot of a coin dozer machine that pushes through the gold and the gadgets, where children run around with goldfish. This must be the place, I say. I know the state of being. It is accountable for all and every cloud of hope that fades before the sublimation, sliding on a conveyor belt back into butterfly being, where every pin lowers the threshold of pain. That is what happens when you put metal inside of a girl.